Class 12th, Subject Chemistry, Chapter number 2, Solutions, Part 5. In the previous class, we had learnt about solubility of a gas in liquid. So today, in this class, we would be learning about Henry's law, which is very much related to solubility of gas in liquids. Henry's law establishes a quantitative relation between pressure and solubility of a gas in solvent. So it has a quantitative relationship between pressure and solubility of a gas in a solvent. So this is a law that has been given for gas liquid solutions. Okay, so it gives a quantitative relationship between pressure and solubility of a gas in a solvent. So that is why Henry's law is a law for gas liquid solution. So now let us look what Henry's law states. Henry's law states that at a constant temperature, the solubility of a gas in liquid is directly proportional to the pressure of the gas. So Henry's law states that is at constant temperature, that is when the temperature remains the same, the solubility of a gas in liquid is directly proportional to the pressure of the gas. So we have already understood that solubility of a gas depends on pressure, right? So Henry's law here states that when you are not changing the temperature, the solubility of a gas in the liquid that is directly proportional to the pressure which is applied on the gas. It can also be stated as the partial pressure of the gas in vapor phase is proportional to the mole fraction of the gas in solution. Okay, so partial pressure that is formed on the gas in the vapor phase, that is when the gas is in the vapor phase, is directly proportional to the mole fraction of the gas in the solution. Okay, where vapor pressure is denoted by small p and mole fraction is denoted by the alphabet X. So mathematically, Henry's law can be written as P is equal to KHX, where P is the partial pressure of the gas, X is the mole fraction, and KH is nothing but Henry's law constant. Okay, so Henry's law, we have understood Henry's law states that at a constant temperature, the solubility of a gas in liquid is directly proportional to the pressure that is applied on the gas. Or we can also say that the partial pressure of the gas in the vapor phase is directly proportional to the mole fraction of the gas. So Henry's law is given by the expression P is equal to KHX. P is partial pressure, X is mole fraction, and KH is Henry's law constant. Now we need to understand what is this partial pressure, right? Henry's law is stating that partial pressure of the gas in vapor phase is directly proportional to the mole fraction of the gas. So what is this partial pressure they are talking about? Let us look into what does this partial pressure mean. So the partial pressure is the pressure of the gas. Okay, if the gas were in the same volume and temperature by itself. So partial pressure is nothing but the pressure that is exerted or the pressure that is present on the gas. Okay, if the gas is at the same volume or has the same volume and at the same temperature by itself. So partial pressure is a force that is exerted by the gas. Okay, so some amount of pressure is applied on the gas, some amount of force has been produced on the gas. So partial pressure is the force that is exerted by the gas. Okay, so sum of the partial pressures of all the gases in a mixture equals the total pressure. So if you are asked to calculate the total pressure of the gases present, how will you do? By adding the partial pressures of all the gases. So sum of the partial pressure of all the gases gives you the total pressure of the gas. okay, of all the gases. So if you add or if you sum the partial pressure of the gases which is present in a mixture, you will get the total pressure that is being applied or that is being exerted by the gas. So now we have understood what is partial pressure. Let us look into an example where we can see this pressure and this partial pressure acting very much in our daily lives. Okay, so this is an example where you are opening a Coke bottle or cold drink bottle. Okay, so how the pressure which is present inside the bottle, how is it coming out, how is it being produced? Let us look into that. So when you are opening the lid of the bottle, that is cold drink bottle, for the first time you will be able to hear a loud noise, right? So when you are opening the bottle, cold drink bottle, for the first time, you will hear a loud noise, right? And a lot of gas, that is carbon dioxide gas, has been released, right? Along with it, some amount of air has also been released, right? Along with carbon dioxide gas, some amount of air has also been released and some sound is also produced when you are opening the lid of the bottle for the first time. But the temperature and the volume remains constant, right? Only pressure and the carbon dioxide gas is being released from the bottle. The volume and the temperature remains constant. Now the second time when you are opening the lid of the bottle, then you hear again a noise, right? And some amount of gas is released. Comparing to the first time, the amount of gas being released the second time is comparatively less. Okay, so second time when you're opening the lid of the bottle, you will hear a noise, a slow noise, okay? And some amount of gas is released. Now when you're opening the bottle for the third time, okay, third time the noise may or may not be heard, but some amount of gas will be released, right? So the first time you will hear a loud noise and large amount of carbon dioxide gas will be released into the air. The second time when you're opening the bottle, you will see comparatively the noise is quite shrill, right? And only some amount of gas is being released. And the third time you may or may not hear the voice, but you can see some amount of gas being released. So when the bottle is opened, the pressurized carbon dioxide, that is the pressure of carbon dioxide, is escaping outside. Okay, so whenever you're opening the bottle, what happens? The pressurized carbon dioxide tries to escape into the atmosphere. So carbon dioxide has been dissolved into the liquid or into the water under high pressure. So when you're opening the bottle, the pressurized carbon dioxide tries to escape into the atmosphere, okay, which is accompanied by this hissing sound. So as the partial pressure of the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is above the drink, okay, it will rapidly decrease. So when the partial pressure of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere above the drink rapidly decreases, the solubility of the carbon dioxide in the drink also decreases. So when the partial pressure of carbon dioxide that is present in the atmosphere is decreasing, what will happen? The solubility of carbon dioxide gas in the drink will be also decreasing, because we have already learned in the previous class that is when we are increasing pressure, solubility of gas increases. When we are decreasing the pressure, solubility of gas also decreases. So here partial pressure of carbon dioxide is decreasing, so the solubility of carbon dioxide gas in the drink will be also decreasing. This is because of Henry's law. Okay, because pressure that is being applied is directly proportional to the solubility of the gas in liquid. So here pressure is decreasing, so it is directly proportional to the solubility. So solubility of carbon dioxide in the water or in the drink is also decreasing. So what happens? This causes the dissolved carbon dioxide to come to the surface of the drink. Okay, so the carbon dioxide that has been dissolved under high pressure into the liquid comes to the surface of the drink, and it will form tiny bubbles and escape into the atmosphere. Okay, so what is happening here? When you're opening the lid of the bottle, the pressurized carbon dioxide will try to escape into the atmosphere with a hissing sound. Okay, why is it happening so? The reason is that the partial pressure of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, okay, is decreasing rapidly. So the partial pressure of carbon dioxide is decreasing rapidly, so solubility of the carbon dioxide in the drink is also decreasing rapidly. Okay, this is big. This is the reason why the dissolved carbon dioxide comes to the surface of the drink, okay, in the form of tiny bubbles and tries to escape into the atmosphere. So this is the reason, that is, if the carbonated drink is left open for long time, the concentration of carbon dioxide in the drink will reach an equilibrium with the concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Okay, so that is the reason why cold drinks are closed under high pressure. Okay, so these carbonated drinks are not left open also for a long time outside, because the concentration of carbon dioxide in the drink, okay, the carbon dioxide that has been dissolved in the drink will reach to an equilibrium with the concentration of carbon dioxide that is present in the atmosphere. Okay, so because of which the drink will go flat. Okay, the drink will lose its fizzy taste. Why? Because the concentration of carbon dioxide in the drink will reach an equilibrium with the concentration of carbon dioxide that is present in the atmosphere. Okay, so when the drink is closed, or when it is tightly closed under high pressure, what happens is the concentration of carbon dioxide in the drink is more. Okay, and the concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is comparatively less. So that is why the drink, when you're opening the bottle or when you're opening the lid of the bottle, large amount of carbon dioxide is rushing to the atmosphere in order to get escaped, right? So if you're leaving this carbonated drink open for a long time, the concentration of carbon dioxide will reach an equilibrium. Okay, will reach to a phase of equilibrium with the concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Okay, so the drink will lose its taste and it will become fizzy. So you can observe that every time that you are opening the lid, the partial pressure of the gas keeps reducing, right? So every time, the first time you are opening the bottle, you will hear a loud noise. Okay, and large amount of carbon dioxide gas is being released into the atmosphere. The second time when you open the bottle, the sound produced is quite less. Okay, but still some amount of carbon dioxide is being released into the air. And the third time you again open, similarly when you do it an n number of times, you will see the sound at the end, or by the nth time, reduces and there will be no sound. You may not even hear the sound, but still some amount of gas must be released. Little bit amount of gas will be released. So finally, every time when you are opening the lid, the partial pressure of the gas keeps on reducing, but the volume and the temperature of the gas remains constant, right? Every time you're opening the lid, the volume of the solution is the same and temperature is also the same. That is, at room temperature you are opening the bottle lid. Okay, so the temperature and volume remains the same, but the pressure inside the gas has been decreased every time you're opening the lid of the bottle. Okay, so by this example we have understood partial pressure of the gas keeps on reducing, but the volume and temperature of the gas remains constant. So here there are some few points that has to be kept in the mind, okay, about Henry's law. That is, if solubility is expressed in terms of mole fraction, then according to Henry's law, mole fraction of a gas in solution is proportional to the partial pressure of gas over the solution. Okay, so if the solubility of the gas or solubility of the gas in the solution or in the liquid is expressed in terms of mole fraction, then according to Henry's law, we know mole fraction of a gas in solution is proportional to the partial pressure of gas over the solution. Okay, so if you have to remember solubility, if it's expressed in mole fraction, then Henry's law comes into action. Okay, now at same temperature, different gases have different KH value. Okay, carbon dioxide will have different KH value, oxygen will have different KH value, nitrogen gas will have different KH value. Okay, so at the same temperature, different gases will have different KH value. So you can look at the different values that different gases have by looking at the table 2.2 that is given in your NCERT textbook, where they have given different gases like helium, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, etc., which at the same temperature, that is at 293 Kelvin, are showing different KH values. Similarly, some inert gases also like argon also at 298 Kelvin shows different KH values. Okay, so at same temperature, different gases show different KH value. Now here KH is nothing but it's a constant, Henry's constant, right? So it is a function of nature of the gas and it also depends on temperature. Okay, so KH is nothing but it's the function and it depends upon the nature of the gas. It also depends upon temperature. Okay, KH is Henry's constant, which is a function of nature of the gas, which depends also on temperature. Now, at a given pressure, when you're increasing the KH, it implies lower solubility of gas in liquid. That is, at a given or at a particular temperature, when you are increasing the value of KH, it shows or it implies that solubility of gas in liquid is lower or it's less. Okay, so when you're increasing KH value, what happens? Lower is the solubility of gas in liquid. So if KH increases, solubility of gas decreases because KH is inversely proportional to solubility. So when there is an increase in KH, solubility decreases. If there is decrease in KH, solubility will increase. Okay, so KH and solubility are inversely proportional to each other, but pressure and solubility are directly proportional to each other. Okay, so value of KH increases with increase in temperature. Okay, value of KH increases but solubility decreases. The next point is value of KH increases with increase in temperature. Therefore, solubility of gas increases with decrease in temperature. Since KH value is directly proportional to temperature, KH value increases, so temperature also increases. Since KH value is inversely proportional to solubility, so solubility of gas will increase with a decrease in KH. So with decrease in KH, temperature also decreases. Okay, so KH value increases with increase in temperature. Therefore, solubility of gas increases with decrease in temperature. Okay, so we have understood KH is directly proportional to temperature. So when KH is increasing, temperature is also increasing. But solubility of gas increases with decrease in temperature. So this is the reason why cold water is more sustainable for aquatic life than warm water. Okay, this is the reason why cold water is more sustainable, or organisms living in cold water, they are finding it more comfortable to live in cold conditions or in cold water rather than in warm water, because with decrease in temperature, solubility of gas increases. That is, in warm water solubility of gas will be less. But in cold temperature, that is when the temperature is decreasing, solubility of the gas will increase. That is, more amount of oxygen or gases will be dissolved in the liquid, okay, when the temperature is low. That is why aquatic organisms find it comfortable to live in cold water than to live in warm water. Because in warm water, what is happening? Temperature is more, so solubility of the gas in liquid is less. Okay, and in cold water, what is happening? Temperature is low, so solubility of the gas increases. Okay, so dissolved oxygen content present in the water will be also more, so organisms will be able to comfortably live in the aquatic conditions when there is cold water. Okay, so this is a very important note that you have to make, and it is quite often it is asked in the questions and examinations. Okay, so what is the reason why cold water is more sustainable for aquatic life than warm water? The reason is this, that when you're increasing the temperature, solubility of gas decreases, but when the temperature is decreasing, solubility of the gas is increasing. So cold water is more comfortable for aquatic life. Now let us understand what is Henry's plot. So we have understood, according to Henry's law, we have understood that partial pressure of the gas is directly proportional to the mole fraction of the gas. Okay, so we are going to plot a graph of partial pressure versus the mole fraction. Okay, so when you are plotting a graph of partial pressure versus mole fraction, you will always obtain a straight line graph. Okay, so here we are obtaining a straight line graph because we have plotted a graph of partial pressure versus mole fraction. Okay, so always you will obtain a straight line plot when you are plotting partial pressure against mole fraction, and the slope of the plot or slope of the graph will give the kh value. Okay, the slope of the graph will give us the kh value, and always Henry's plot is a linear plot, it's a straight line plot. Okay, and the slope of the plot gives us kh value. But we have seen for different gases different kh value has been observed, okay, at same temperature that has been given in the table. Okay, so with this we have finished what is Henry's law. We have understood what is partial pressure with the help of an example. We have also understood what is Henry's plot. So this is an experimental result. Okay, this plot is an experimental result for solubility of HCl gas in cyclohexane, okay, at 293 Kelvin. So this plot is at the temperature, fixed temperature, that is 293 Kelvin, where HCl gas solubility is seen in cyclohexane. Okay, and we are seeing the slope of the graph gives Henry's constant, that is kh. So slope of the graph gives us the kh value, and this is a straight line plot, it's a linear plot since it's Henry's plot. So we have learned what is Henry's law, we have learned what is partial pressure, and along with that we have understood what is the example we have learned about partial pressure. Along with that we have learned Henry's plot.